Hey guys, this video is all about making this amazing UI element, basically a mask test and a prototype for it, all in Figma. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, let's start with the most scary part, a blank canvas. Let me just change the dimensions to 1920 by 1080 and rename the frame. It's always a best practice to rename your frame. And yeah, let's get started with the navbar. I'm thinking the navbar will be docked on the left side, not on the top side, because we need that space. And yeah, this is a concept, so why not? So for the nav items, I'm thinking home, category, the contact us. I'm not sure about this, come on, but yeah, it's imaginary project, so shouldn't be stressing too much about nav items. So I'm just going to quickly rename this as category and this one as contact us. Don't worry about the blurred out part, it's just some text from work, so I'm not hiding anything there. Okay, just make this all caps. Alright, space them out a bit, and if you're a beginner or someone who already knows Figma and how to use it, so and you're here just to see how I make the mask text effect and the prototype, so I'll be making chapters for this YouTube video, so you can just skip to that. Okay. Let me just add a title there, make it all caps, and then space them out, give it some actually huge amount of letter spacing. Okay, that looks good. And yeah, the font which I'm using for this project is Montserrat. It's a free font. I think it's available in Google Fonts, so yeah, you shouldn't have problems finding that font. Why I chose this font is because of its readability. Okay, now for the movie pic. So yeah, I made a rectangle and I had the pictures already that I downloaded from a basic Google search. So for this project, for this particular element, I'm just gonna mask them, okay, and then group them. But Figma has an option where you can just search for any image in your internet or Chrome, and you select that image, copy it, basically Control C, and you come to Figma, select that particular element, and when you hit Command or Control V, it's gonna paste that element, so no masking required. Now for the best part, the mask test. I'm just gonna make 2 text fields because I want the chapter 2 part to be squeezed a bit because it's a lengthy text. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, looking good. Just gonna group them, and yeah, name your groups and frames, always the best practice. Okay. Oh, that's a scary eye. Okay, I'm just gonna copy the image, paste it here. Now this is the best part. So I'm gonna select that text group, and there's an option to mask it. So when I mask it, everything above that layer will be masked, and if I put the image above the text group in the layers panel, so it's gonna mask that text, and basically whatever is above that particular element which is selected to mask, it's gonna appear in the, basically it will be masked. So if you want to cap it off, then you can select the element and the masked text and just group it, so that will cap off anything, and you can have any other element placed above the text group layer. Just make the image large. Okay, So yeah, I'm just gonna squeeze it a bit, but by squeezing, I think I'm putting the Roman numerical 2 there a bit close. So I'm just gonna add some space. And by the way, this is a cool tip. So if you have mask, if you have like a mask text here and you want to change the text, if you double click, that's gonna straight away select the image which is being masked. Instead of that, what I recommend you to do is hide the image, select the layer, text layer. Now it will be selectable, and then change your text. Let's add some more elements to make it interesting. Let me just go to Wikipedia. I don't know who's the director of this movie. Okay, just paste it. And while we are at it, might as well grab some lines about the movie itself. So a description. Okay. So yeah, for the description, I'm reducing the boldness of the text because always place your elements according to a particular hierarchy. In this case, the director, it holds up a better position, I guess. So you want it to stand out from the description itself. So that's why I'm keeping it bold. All right. Now that is sorted, and yeah, for the stars, okay, I'm using a plugin called Iconify. This icon looks better, and I don't know why, for some reason whenever I import an icon from Iconify, it always gives me in a frame, but in this case I don't want a frame. Just place the icon there, maybe make it a bit bigger. Okay. I'm just gonna hold Alt and copy the image. So here's another Figma tip. If you basically make an action, if you copy an element by holding Alt and you place it somewhere, and after that when you hit Control D, it's gonna duplicate, or yeah, it's gonna repeat the same action again and again. So I'm just gonna group it, and I'm gonna duplicate that particular group. I'll tell you in a second why. So select the bottom text, mask it. Now I'm gonna put the rectangle in between the two star layers. Okay, I'm just gonna rename it. Okay. Why I did that was because of this. So basically that group acts as a mask, and the rectangle behind it acts as a progress bar. So yeah. So if you want to change the ratings dynamically, basically in the next artboard you are having some movie which is rated 2. It's not. Yeah, you can just scale it down and yeah, leave it there. Now if you see, whenever I scale it down, I scale the bar down, the stars aren't that visible. So that's why I made another duplicate. So this top star group, I removed the fill for it and added a stroke. So that way, no matter where the bar is, the 5 stars will also always be visible. So I'm just gonna add a rating there, 6.5 out of 10, and if it is 6.5, this bar will be here somewhere. Okay, make it a bit darker, hierarchy. Okay, oh, that is stupid. Okay, looks good. Okay, space them out equally. Alright, this is looking good. Let's add some call to actions. So okay, let's add a watch now button. So just gonna make a rectangle. I'm thinking of something like a dark blue, because the theme matches it. So I'm just gonna reduce the size, give it some letter spacing, and make it rounded. Just gonna play around with the colors a bit, and maybe a size, because I don't think it's the size it is now. I don't think it's appropriate. It's taking too much space. Okay, yeah, it is taking too much space. Okay, I'm just gonna group it, and play around with the values. So if you're just starting out, then you should play around with stuff. So yeah, 22. Alright, let's make a login and sign up page. Now login isn't the primary CTA, it's sign up, because if you're logging in, then chances are you're already that you have already visited this site. So I'm making it less obvious by removing the fill and adding a stroke. You login, and I think I can make this more interesting by reducing the opacity of the background layer, basically the rectangular layer. Okay, sign up, invert it, remove the stroke, add in the fill, and it's going to be pure white. And because of because it is translucent, it's getting that grayish tint. Okay, just going to align them and put it there. Okay, I'm just going to play around with the sizes. Fit to width. Okay, this is looking good. Let's add some elements here. Basically, I want to add the number of this movie and basically a next button. So the font, it's my personal favorite, so it's called Federation. I think it was used for Shelby Cobra's logo. So I downloaded this font like a while back, so I can't remember when, but this is an awesome font. So I'm just gonna increase the size, and this font doesn't come with like the weights, so it's just a normal font. So if you want to make this bold, then you have to add a stroke. Alright, and yeah, again Figma tip here: if you have used any plugin and you want to use it again, you have to just hit Control or Command in Mac, Control Alt P, so that will run the last plugin that you have used. Just put a circle there. That's what make it big and line it. Okay. Okay, space them up, and yeah, this is looking good. Alright, I have made similar copies of that artboard and have different images and different movies there. Let's start with the prototype. Okay, for the starting point, I want this navbar to move in from the left, so I'm just going to move it all the way to the left. And this text, I want to move it from the right, so I'm just going to push it to the right. In the description, it's I want it to have a slow velocity, so a little bit low, and I want the stars to fill up as it loads up. I'm just gonna move the elements here and there. Okay, I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm just gonna hide it and show you what it's like. But let me just prototype it first. So the trigger will be on click, navigate to, smart animate, and 1000 milliseconds, a second. I'll just show you what's going on here. When I click on that, if you basically just hide elements, it's not gonna smart animate as you see here. It's just gonna fade it in, so we don't want that. So I'm just gonna undo all the changes, select all the elements, and instead of hiding them, I'm just gonna reduce their opacity to 0. Okay, and now I just check in the prototype and I click. Oh, I forgot to prototype it. So 1 second. select the IT2 artboard, connect it there, and yeah, the trigger will be on click, smart animate, and 1000 milliseconds. Okay, that looks good. Now for the transition between the IT artboard and the non artboard, so I went for a different approach here because I wanted to export these artboards to After Effects and maybe use it as a reference to code and Webflow. So I wanted it to be as clean as possible. So what I did here was make a intermediate artboard, I guess. So I'm just gonna move the element, the IT chapter 2 text box, to the left because that's where I want it to go, and I want the none text to move in from the right. So I'm just gonna place it there, and as it is moving in, I want that masked image inside it to kind of condense. So I'm just gonna make it large and reduce its opacity. Now for the prototype part, I'm going to select the IT2 artboard and connect it to the intermediate artboard, and the trigger will be click and smart animation. So what I want to do is here the intermediate board and the none artboard will be the trigger will be a delay. So it's going to be 1 millisecond. That's the least you can have in Figma. Navigate to, and the ease in will be ease out, and it will be 500 milliseconds. So the first interaction will be ease in and 500 milliseconds. So altogether, when it's transitioning from the IT chapter 2 to the none, it will be ease in and out, and the interaction will be 1000 milliseconds. Boy, that was a lot of work. Okay, that is looking good. So I'm just gonna repeat the same process to the none and Annabelle artboard. Okay, move to the left, raise opacity to 0, copy the Annabelle creation text, paste it here, move it to the right, and expand the image, mask the image. Alright, raise it to 0. Oh, I forgot to prototype it. So for the prototype, if you want a trigger but it is grayed out and you can't access it, then there's a chance that the particular trigger is being used for another interaction. So make sure you delete that interaction if it is placed by mistake, and then you can have that trigger there. Alright, so this is looking good. I will link the Figma files in the description below. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, and yeah, do like the video and subscribe. So have a good one.